Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Senators News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Jacob Billington. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going good. Senators are doing well too, so it's pretty good time right now. Ottawa is Canada's team, the only Canadian team in the playoffs right now. So we're putting the nation on our back.
Yeah, it is true. All the Canadian teams, some of them that are supposed to be good, they're not right now. And the Senators, yeah, they've been on a roll. They've been playing really well. So that kind of shifts to maybe to make them better, make some trades to upgrade the offense. And Jacob, I put out an article, it was today, on a bunch of trade targets that they should be going after. And these aren't small names. These are they're bigger guys that will make an impact on the lineup if they are acquired. So, we're going to go through them and talk about, see if maybe there's the potential to get some of these guys on the team. And we'll start with Andrei Svechnikov, which Carolina Hurricanes, there was some talk that he's, I don't know if the right word is disgruntled, but it seems like that there could be a trade there. What do you think about Svechnikov maybe getting acquired by the Senators?
I think Andrei Svechnikov would be one of the best additions that the Senators could make right now. Obviously, the big question is going to be around his availability. Elliotte Friedman said, listen, this was earlier in the season. This kind of happened. Right now, everything's going very, very well for the Hurricanes and Svechnikov. So they're not really looking to move him today. But the idea is in their head that, okay, if we need to move Svechnikov, he might be open to that kind of deal. That's what Elliotte Friedman reported. Svechnikov turned that down. He said that didn't happen. Those are two guys both doing their jobs. You can never really fully trust one way or the other until something happens. But the offensive talent that Svechnikov has, the grit and the physicality, like he plays a similar style to Brady Tkachuk. And it would be really nice to have another Brady Tkachuk on the second line with Dylan Cousins. That would be a phenomenal fit. So he would cost a ton, and Ottawa would have to give things up and whatever. That's a whole different conversation. But Andrei Svechnikov should absolutely be one of the Senators' top targets if he is to become available.
For sure. The Hurricanes they're playing, like you say, really well right now, and Svechnikov seems to be happy. He's on a roll too. So it's something that, they might entertain depending on, things around the deadline. Who knows? But yeah, that's someone that definitely would help the Hurricanes, also help a lot of other teams if he was made available, and they won't be the first one. They won't be the only one looking at him for sure. Another guy, which we have mentioned on videos before, and that's Jason Robertson, the Dallas Stars. He's a guy that has been in the rumors for a while now. Not sure if the Stars are really willing to trade him, but he's definitely in the rumors and would help the Senators as well.
Yeah, I think the latest update on Jason Robertson is that the Dallas Stars are waiting for him to come back to the negotiation table. They're waiting to see how much he's going to really ask for. They'll probably have a couple offers they're ready to give out. They're probably not going to be enough to get him. That's how negotiations work. And this is going to be a trend with a lot of these players. None of them are necessarily on the trading block, but they're players that could be made available, and it makes sense to acquire if they do become available.
Yeah.
These home run trades that we're here in Ottawa is interested in, they don't just happen because a team is like, hey, I want to trade Jason Robertson, and you just put your hand up and say, here's my offer. Like, there's work that goes behind it. You have to convince them to trade their player. Now, sometimes they are sellers, and that's a lot easier to do. But with Jason Robertson, it's not going to be an easy negotiation if you're going to look for a trade. But if he's not going to sign and there's opportunity to sign him to an extension, the Senators should be all over that too. He's fourth in the league in scoring. That's going to be a huge cost if they trade him. But Jason Robertson is exactly the kind of player they need as well. Like, just that kind of skill level. So if the Senators could find a way to get Robertson, I think that would also be a home run.
Yeah. And the thing is, Robertson's on absolute heater right now. He's scoring like almost every game, it seems. He's definitely would cost a lot, even if he wasn't scoring right now, but especially how hot he is. So, but yeah, I think if the Stars can't, get an extension done with them, they're definitely going to be trading him. You're not going to lose a guy like that for nothing either. So yeah, there's something that could be a developing story as we keep going. All right, couple Canucks now, because the Canucks did put out a thing that they're willing to listen on veteran players. First one, Brock Boeser, recently extended by the Canucks in the offseason, thinking that he might, I know we talked to him as a free agent possibility for the Senators. Now he has to be a trade target. What do you think about Boeser potentially being a guy as well?
Yeah, Brock Boeser is another player who would fit into the Ottawa Senators top 6 very, very well, especially alongside a guy like Tim Stützle. I think that they could have fantastic chemistry together. The Vancouver Canucks aren't necessarily there's not a list going around of who's available, but considering the next person that we're going to talk about, Conor Garland, his name has been out there and his extension hasn't even kicked in yet. I'm assuming the fact that Brock Boeser just signed an extension isn't going to be a huge factor in them deciding to trade. But if they go as far as trading guys like Elias Pettersson, or if they do trade Conor Garland, and they said that it's not going to be Quinn Hughes or Filip Hronek. I think those are the only two guys that are not on the table right now. But if they sell all those assets, why not also move Boeser? It's within the world of possibilities. Probably not super likely, but I think the Boeser's scoring ability would fit really well. And then you could use that opportunity to put Drake Batherson down on the second line with Dylan Cousins again. That would just really round out the Senators' top 6.
Yeah. And I mean, I mentioned on the Canucks news and rumors that it's not a good look by the Canucks, trading guys like this you just signed him. But I mean, yeah, if they are actually listening on veteran players, I mean, Boeser's one of them, and they said not just expiring UFAs, on guys with term, and of course Boeser with term. So I mean, again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It could be traded, and would really help the Senators, as we've discussed on shows before, how much he could help the team as well. All right, Conor Garland, mentioned him second there. This is a guy that would definitely help a lot of teams of how his energy level, his utility. He can play power play, penalty kill, all over the lineup, really. So yeah, he would definitely help the Senators too.
Yeah, Conor Garland is a smaller, feisty, just such a fun player to watch, and he's exactly who I hope Ridley Gregg turns into. Yeah. Now, if the Senators are acquiring Conor Garland, it's almost certainly going to be Ridley Gregg going the other way. That's just how that would probably work out. But he would also fit really well. He's not as productive as some other players. He has shown that he can be quite productive, but he's not going to be like that 100-point winger that the Senators might be looking for. But I do think that as an underrated piece, just when talking about the Canucks, it's important to include Conor Garland in there. He could probably come in and score 60, 65 points every season in Senators' top 6. And he is almost the opposite of what the Senators are trying to go for. And I felt the same way about Tim Stützle. They're just more skill and actually have to work harder. So they're not just big body, run you over kind of player. And especially recently. But I think Conor Garland, his work ethic, and we've talked about that on the Canucks show multiple times, but his work ethic would fit Ottawa's system incredibly well. And I think that alongside, again, Dylan Cousins and even Fabian Zetterlund, I think that would make a fantastic second line.
Yeah, I mean, if people have watched the shows, how much I love Garland, and I don't want him out of the Vancouver, but that's one guy he's so fun to watch, and he makes teams better because of his work ethic. It just rubs off on other players as well. So I mean, that's a guy that would definitely help a lot of teams and the Senators as well. All right, Buffalo Sabres. This is a team that's going to probably be in the trade rumors a lot as they keep going, to see if they keep going on the way they are. Alex Tuch has been in the rumors and conversations with a lot of teams. He would help. And you say about the physicality and the size, he does fit that mold.
Yeah, I feel like Alex Tuch is borderline the level of player that the Senators should be getting. Conor Garland, I would say, is a little bit below Tuch, but the fit just makes a lot of sense. With Alex Tuch, I think that he should be kind of like the minimum type of player that the Senators go after. He's the kind of player that, yeah, he can score a point per game, but he's also really streaky. And it could be a more riskier move, especially I think there's been talks that he wants upwards of $11 million on an extension. That's a lot of money. So I would be a bit more hesitant to get Alex Tuch, but I do think that him as a player, without thinking of the extension, without thinking of the prices or the trade cost, he would be a fantastic fit on the Senators. And I think that he would round out the top six as well. I just love the physicality that he brings. Mm-hmm. He's so much fun to watch. And on the Buffalo team that has been quite miserable for his entire tenure there, he has always been the bright spot of that team since getting there. I know that the Sabres really like him. It wouldn't be a cheap trade by any means. But if the Sabres are going to continue to head downhill and they just have to keep selling off assets again, like I don't know where this team is even going. Yeah. But Ottawa should be on the phone with Kevin Adams about Alex Tuch. And obviously Steve Staios and Kevin Adams do have a prior relationship when it comes to trades with Josh Norris and Dylan Cousins. Kevin Adams might not want to do business with Steve Staios after that deal. That's looking really good for Ottawa and not very good for Buffalo. But the trade for Alex Tuch would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's a guy that would help, of course, a lot of teams as well. I mean, that could get into a bit of a bidding war if you are looking at it. But yeah, I think there's a guy that would help the Senators too. All the things you mentioned there. All right, shifting to another team that's they are last in the league, the Nashville Predators. Very surprisingly, still they got so much talent. Filip Forsberg leading the way there. That's a guy that I think I'm not sure really if they would be open to trading him, but he would help the Senators too.
Yeah, I don't know about his availability either. I did see one report about a week ago that said it was only Yossi and Forsberg that were not on the table. And I don't even remember who that was from. That could be whatever. But if the Nashville Predators sell everything off like they're probably going to do, again, kind of like I said with Boeser, not the first guy you're going to want to look at moving, but at this point, why not? Like, what is there to stay for? So Forsberg, I mean, he scored, I think, 48 goals 2 years ago. Last year, he did very well on a not very good Predators team. This year, he's struggling, but the whole team is. You can't even blame the guy. He has a ton of talent, and the Senators like their Swedes. Senators have a very, very good history with Swedish players. Obviously, Daniel Alfredsson is one of them. Even on the roster now, like they've got Linus Ullmark. They've got. Do they even have any more Swedes? I don't know. They've got Linus Ullmark. Ole Lycksell. I'm probably missing quite a few, but so the Senators have a good history with the Swedish players. Filip Forsberg would come in, probably fit in really, really well with the team. And a guy with that much talent would be a fantastic addition. I think he would be my number 2 behind Jason Robertson among the players that we've talked about.
For sure. Fabian Zetterlund would be in there too.
Right, Fabian Zetterlund, yes.
I had to double check because I'm like, is he Swedish? You don't know. Like but he could be another one. But yeah, Forsberg would definitely be a guy that he would help the Senators. He'd be that, again, the home run trade that they're looking at as too. All right, finally, the last one here is Jordan Kyrou. He is a guy that's been, again, with the Blues, trade rumors, and that he might be dealt, and one of the guys. And I mean, the Blues have kind of said that they're open for business as well, looking at different guys that they could be moving. Braden Shen is another name that's been thrown out there. What do you think about Kyrou potentially being Senator?
Yeah, Jordan Kyrou scored 70 points in each of the last 4 seasons. I think one year he was shy, just a couple, but he's made up for it in the other years. He's a 70-point guy, 30 goals. He plays really, really hard. He's a fantastic skater. The Senators, again, like all these guys, that's why I wrote about it, would hugely benefit from having a guy like Jordan Kyrou on the wing. And for some reason, he is the biggest example of a scapegoat in the NHL with the St. Louis Blues. He's always the guy that gets scratched when they want to send a message. And I don't imagine that he loves that. And I'm sure it's been talked about many times. Elliot Friedman's mentioned it, that Kyrou would be open to a trade. And there was talks over the offseason. There was talks last year at the deadline. Jordan Kyrou is probably going to want out. Now, his no trade clause did kick in. Doesn't mean he can't waive it. There's always ways to kind of convince a guy to waive that. Not playing very well this year. He's only got 13 points in 22 games, and he's a -10 already on the season. Things just aren't going very well in St. Louis. Things aren't going well for him. A trade would make a lot of sense. He signed an 8-year deal, $8.125 million. So it's a big deal, but Ottawa has a really good cap structure right now, and looking into the future, there's a lot of good things about the way that they have signed their players. They have room to add a Jordan Kyrou. It would be hard for this season, but moving forward, they have room for another $8 million cap hit. So I think Jordan Kyrou would be a really good addition.
Lots of speed he would add to the lineup for sure. So, I mean, all these guys, I would be, I don't know if there's a couple that might not be classified as home run trades. I mean, Conor Garland is a really good player, but I wouldn't say that'd be like a blockbuster type deal. So, I mean, a lot of these guys would be a pretty big things that Senators would have to send in return. But I mean, all of them would help the top six and really maybe push them over the edge this season, depending on when they are acquired. I don't know. But we'll see how it all goes. But we'll keep waiting. There hasn't been big trades really lately at all in the NHL, but I'm sure some will come eventually. But make sure to check out everything at thehockeyriders.com for all Senators content we got over there. All of our videos on the YouTube channel and our Substack newsletter. Leave a like, comment if you comment on any of these guys that you think the Senators, which one you want on the team. But until our next video, we will see you next time.